Hello, Gemma here for Pilates, level 2/3. Basics, remember that if you're injured, then this is not appropriate for you to be doing. If you're not injured, then we will work away as hard as we can. If anything feels uncomfortable at any point, then please just stop. Remember, we should never be in pain. We can feel the muscles fatigue, but we shouldn't be in pain. There will be alternatives and adaptations offered throughout, so just listen closely for those. Today we're going to be using the magic circle. Sorry, I don't know why I have to use theatrics. But anyway, yeah, we're going to use circle. But don't worry, if you don't have a circle, it doesn't matter. If you don't have a circle, you could use a band, a strappy, elasticated band, or even a pair of tights because they've got the elasticity and resistance. So it's up to you, but otherwise we're going to use the circle. So we're going to start off with our feet hip distance apart. So remember, if you're not sure what hip distance apart is, we take our feet together, we turn them out like Mary Poppins or a penguin, and then we turn our heels out. So we've got our feet hip distance apart. Take a look down. If you take your thumb and your little finger, there should be, the little toe should sit just in between those 2 points. Shoulder blades back and down, and just settle, soften your knees and settle in that position. We're going to begin with just some pelvic rocks. So I'm just going to turn to the side. So all we're going to do is very gently begin to rock the pelvis back and forth. So it comes back and tucks under. And I know that sometimes I feel like with these videos, I feel like I say the same things every week. But you know, just remember that those movements are individual, they're different for everyone. So my movement's not huge. Some people's might be bigger, smaller. Just don't worry about it. Just go with what feels right for you. So just nice and steady. And we're just rocking it back and forth. Getting that synovial fluid, so that lubricant that goes all around our joints, all over the body. We're just specifically getting it sort of flushed into that area of the lumbar spine, the sacral spine. It's the area here is where we take the heavy loads that we do in everyday life. So now let's just tuck it under and hold that tuck. So what we should have is a slight adaptation to our normal posture. So it's going to feel slightly different to how you normally stand. Then from there, just take your hands to your rib and just focus on your lateral breath. So breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just feeling the ribs expand and contract. And we want to get used to that lateral breath because that's how we're going to breathe through the session. Very gently, letting your hands relax by the side. Let's take our focus into our pelvic floor. So we've got that slight tuck. Now taking our focus to the pelvic floor, remember it starts right here at the top of the bottom line. We're pulling those muscles in, then coming through to the middle, and we're pulling up, and then we come round to the front, and we're lifting at the front. So if we think of it as an elevator, we want to be coming up to the third floor, that's the front, and we want to hold it there on the third floor. So just take a moment to get that pelvic floor in place. And remember, it doesn't matter if it comes out or we relax. Obviously, we're hoping your pelvic floor doesn't come out as such, but we want that pelvic floor to stay in place as we go through the session. But don't worry if the muscles relax. I will be reminding you throughout. Shoulder blades back and down. Take your focus into your belly button. Begin to draw the belly button in towards your spine. You want to feel tension. You want to feel stability. All I can feel is cakes and cookies in my tummy these days. So, but we want to have about 25-30%. Shoulder blades back and down, shoulders relaxed. Juicy peach under the chin, and we're just holding it there. And all we're going to do is some double chins. We're just going to squeeze in and relax. So squeeze in and relax. So as we squeeze in, we get that double chin. You'll feel the muscles along the back of the neck and the top of the shoulders. We're just getting a little stretch into them. So 2 more. Squeeze in relax, squeeze in, relax. Cervical rotations, nice and easy. Letting the head rotate side to side. It's really good, even though we're level 2/3, it is really good to make sure that we're activating the whole of the spine. So we've got the cervical, we've got the thoracic, the lumbar, then it goes into the sacral, and we've got our tailbone. Can't really do anything with your coccyx, sorry. So nice and steady with your tailbone, coccyx. Can't really do anything with that, but still, it's good to just wake everything up. So one more to the left and then relax. Give me a sassy walk. So when we sassy walk, we swing our arms, we swing the legs, we let the hips just gently sway side to side. Just when we walk naturally, the pelvis is going to shift side to side. And that's absolutely fine. That's what we're doing here. So just gently swinging side to side. Heels coming off the floor. And then just relax down. Let's laterally glide out to the side. Remembering if we've got osteoporosis, we are going to keep this range small. So nice and steady. Controlled. So let's have two more. One more to the right, the last one to the left. And bring it back. Nice and steady, shoulders relaxed. Bring your hands across your chest. Knees are slightly soft. Tailbones under, pelvic floors engaged. We've got some rotation. Just round to the side. Again, if we've got osteoporosis, we're going to keep this range really small. If we haven't, we're going to rotate as far as feels comfortable and right. So we're not forcing anything, but we're not encouraging the hips to move, okay? If we've got osteoporosis, we're not going to worry about the hips or the pelvis rotating as we go through the motion. But if we don't, then we're not going to worry. I'm going to have to take my jump off. I'm a bit warm in here today. So nice and steady, controlled. And bringing it back to the center. Hands relaxed by the side. Bring your feet together. Hands come to your hips. Index fingers come across. We check that the hips are level. Remember, if they're slightly out, hands come back. We adjust. But if you know you've got that natural one hip higher than the other, then you just leave. You're never going to get that adjustment, so don't worry about it. Heels come off the floor, easy peelers. So we're just coming into the toes. So nice and steady, controlled. Up and down. Lifting into the toes, the balls of the feet. If we can go a little bit quicker without falling over like myself, then we pick up our pace, but really conscious that the shoulders and the hips are staying level as we go through this. So excuse me while I just take my jumper off a moment. So nice and steady, controlled. That's better, that's a bit warmer. So relax, come back to hip distance. Feet turn out, heels out. This time we're going to monkey squat. As we monkey squat, we're going to rotate. So I'm just turning to the side. So all we're going to do is as we squat, look over, let the arms swing out. Now remember, if we've got shoulder issues, then we're not going to do the arms. They can just stay down by the side. Check as you go through the movement that your bum is pushing out and you can see your toes. So remember, I always say it's handy to have a mirror. Nice and steady. And we're inhaling as we come down, exhaling as we come up. Last two. Last one. And relax. Feet back together, hands on the hips, check they're level, shoulders level, lift one foot. Big toe can stay on the floor, we can lift, rotate in one direction, the other way. And bring it back. Other leg comes up, rotate one way, then the other way, and then relax. Let us go into our workout. So you're going to grab your circle or your band, okay? Or a pair of tights if you don't have a band. The tights have got elasticity, so you can use them as well. So we're going to step into the band, to the circle. If we had a band, we would be tying it round, bringing our legs together nice and tight and tying it in a little bow or a knot. And then we have our feet hip distance apart. So if you have got a circle and you're using the circle, you're pushing against. Don't want the feet hip distance apart, but you're pushing against, okay? So starting with monkey squats, we're going to lift our arms out in front and bring them back down, okay? So all we do is inhale, exhale. Inhale, pushing against, or pushing against the band or a pair of tights if that's what you're using. And we inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Check that you can see your toes. Tailbone tucked under behind. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Come up. Now, very gently, you're going to come down, bring your hands across your chest, and you're going to stay at the bottom for a minute. We're going to take a deep breath. As we exhale, come down. Stay here. Give me a little pulse. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, stay. Tailbone under, core engaged, just for 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently come up. Bring your feet together, slip the band or circle or pair of tights off. This time, still monkey squatting, sorry. Okay, but with a slight split stance, it's a split monkey squat. So take your right foot forward, left foot behind. There should be a nice diagonal line between those 2 feet. In fact, I'm just going to turn this way so you can see what I mean. So we've got a nice diagonal, you can't see my feet. So just got a nice diagonal line from the heel of my right foot to the toes of my left. So it's, again, it's hip distance. And you can use that. So you thumb your little finger, so you take it forward, you can see where your little toes are, you just trace it back. And yep, my little toes, God, I've got no balance today. I haven't had balance for weeks now. So you just take it back and you can check that they're still in place. So we've got our split stance. And we're taking a hold of our band or our circle. So if you have a band, what might be worth doing is taking your hands, it's just holding the band nice and tall. I was just trying to work out whether it would be worth having the band around your arm. So I think just pulling it nice and tall. So all we're going to do is push the bum back, look through our window, and then bring it up. And I know when I'm in the studio, I always make the joke about which window we're visiting today, back to play days. But nice and steady. So we're going through the round window. Push back, core engaged. Remember that juicy peach under the chin. So for 4, nice and steady, you've got this. 3 and 2. Last one, steer down, hold it here. Hold it here, core engaged. And then bring it up. Now this time, as you bring it up, you're going to take the circle between the thighs. As you take the circle, you're going to squeeze the thighs together. So if you've got a band, you'll tie, if you've got your band, bring your legs together, tie it round, and then step them wide. If you've got the circle, you're going to take it in between the thighs, and you're going to squeeze. Pelvic floor's engaged, tailbone's tucked under. We're just going to hold it there. So we're squeezing and we're holding. And I want you to clench the glutes, okay? So activate your glutes as you squeeze. We're just holding it there. Lateral breaths. Gosh, it's boiling in my loft today. So nice and steady, holding it, holding it. Just for 8, keep squeezing. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Slip it out. We need to do our split on the opposite side. So this time the opposite leg is forward. We've got that split stance. Remember, if you're using the band, you're going to have the band, you're going to be holding it, and you've got tension on the band, okay? And the same with the tights as well. So tailbone under, core engaged. Inhale and exhale. Exhale. Juicy peach under the chin, remember. Nice and steady. So last 3. Last 2. Last one, stay down. Hold it here. Little pulse just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up. Take your band again between the thighs. Do that so graciously, don't I? Squeeze it together. Remember, if you've got the band, you're going to bring your legs together tight, nice and tight, and then step them wide. Otherwise, we're aiming to have the legs hip distance apart once we're squeezing the band. So squeezing together, gluteal bracing going on at the back, pelvic floor, we're on that fed floor, remember, we've lifted up that elevator to the fed floor, and we're drawing that belly button in towards the spine. We're holding it there. Now, as we hold it there, I'm not going to make you pulse because we've got less control in this position than when we're laid on the floor. So we're just holding it in place. Just holding it in place. So hold it. Can you squeeze any tighter? Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Bend the knees, take it out. Still holding your circle or your band. This time you're taking it behind, okay? And our hands are just resting. So if you've got a band, you're going to take your band, you're just going to hold tension. If you've got the circle, you're going to take your hands behind, I'm just coming closer, and you're going to rest them on those side bits, okay? So they're like that. And all we're going to do is squeeze and release, squeeze and release. You may find that you're barely squeezing, but it's working into the triceps. So normally when we do this, and we're doing it without, so if we're doing it without, we'd just be doing this position. Okay, so if you are doing it without, that's what you're doing. But you'll feel when you do it with the circle, it's horrendous. You won't get much tension in there, that's okay. So just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Roll them back up to the shoulders and down. So just 3 more. Last 2 and last 1. Okay, coming back to the legs and balance and stability here. So remember, balance and stability is really important. The older we get, really important that we're working the left and right side of the brain. So bring your feet together. So the feet are together. Bring your hands to your hips. Check that the hips are level. If they're not, adjust if you need to. Hold in your circle, or again, you can be holding your band and have tension or a pair of tights. We can just gently, we're going to come up onto one leg. So big toe could be resting on the floor. And remember, if you want, you can have a chair next to you to help with your balance. So big toe can be resting on the floor. And all we're going to do is lift, rotate the head, bring it back and bring it down. So you could keep the big toe on the floor and just take it down, lift, look, and up. Or we lift, aiming anywhere between the floor and hip height, turn the head and then bring the head back, and then bring the circle and the leg down together. So the head moves, so make sure it's between your circle. If you've got a circle, gently bring it down. Don't use me as a focus. As I say, my balance is absolutely shocking, so just keep going with that for a moment. I'm just going to grab my water. This is really warm up here today. And I never dare open the window because I'm in the loft, but someone's always cutting the grass or cutting the hedge. We've got a lot of hedges in Alderby Park where we live. So nice and steady. Taking your time. Conscious of that stability in the ankle, the knee, on the supporting side. 2 more. Being conscious we're keeping everything level. I can feel myself tilting into the left side as I go. Bring it down. Okay, other side. Feet on the floor, hips, shoulders level. Remember, you can keep it on the floor and just bring the circle up, do the rotation. Still testing your balance. You could be just taking the foot fully back down, lifting into the toes, rotating. Otherwise, we're lifting anywhere between the floor and hip height. And it's not unusual to be stronger or have more stability on one side. So don't berate yourself. But what it's really worth being conscious of, so I can see it as I go, is when you lift that you're not tilting to the other side. So keeping those hips level, keeping the shoulders level. That's why I always say it's useful to have a mirror about if you can. So let's have 3 more of these. I feel like the moment I want to lift, I'm dropping my hips. So even though I teach, doesn't mean I'm perfect by any means, far from it. And I think what's really interesting as well is making these videos, so this is just me waffling now, so your ears can not listen if you wish. But I think when you're making these videos, because we're actually doing it more than when we're in the studio, you're physically adjusting, last one. You're a one-show pony, as I've said before in the studio. So you do a couple of fantastic repetitions and then you're done. Whereas when doing this, you do more, you actually start to say, oh, actually, okay, I can do it really well 1 or twice, and then, oh, it's not so great. So we're just human. So nice and steady. We've done those 2 now. This time, holding your circle. So again, you can have your circle or you would be holding your band nice and tight. So all we're going to do, so I'm just going to come a bit closer. So we've got our circle like so. And all we're going to do is push in and out. So if you have the band, you're going to pull out. So have it really close. So you'd have your hands really close and pull out. We're pushing in. So it's a slightly different action, but I want you to get some resistance regardless of what you're doing. So pushing in and out. Breathe in. Exhale. So last 2. Last one. And relax. So just popping your circle down to the ground for a few moments. Bring your feet together, bring your hands on your hips. Very gently, just again, bring the index fingers across, check that they're level. Oh, mine is completely out, so let's adjust. Still out. So shoulder blades back and down, pelvic floor engaged, abdominal belt in position. I'm going to bend my right leg. So what I'm going to be conscious of is, as I do that, is that I don't drop that hip, okay? So keeping the hands on the hips allow us to feel how they're moving and how they're shifting. So that knee is bent and the toes resting on the floor. Now we can let the toes skim along the floor as we slide it out, or we can let it lift up. So as I say in the studio sometimes, imagine you're a male dog. You found a beautiful solid oak tree and you just want to leave your dog telephone little marker there. Sorry to be so crude. And be conscious as you're doing this, so I can see my upper body, so I'm kind of banana-ing. We don't want a banana. We want to keep everything nice and steady and strong. Inhale in as you lift out. Exhale in as you bring it back. So let's just have 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1, and hold for a moment. So remember, you could be using some to balance, you could be pushing your tongue to the roof of your mouth to help with your stability, and then bring it down. Bring your feet together and just have some easy peelers. So just some easy peelers. I've just spotted a hair bubble on the floor by my computer and you're like, it's so warm today. It's very humid, I think, outside, very grey. So coming back again, opposite foot this time. So again, hands on the hips, index fingers comes across, check they're meeting, shoulder blades back and down. Big toe on the floor, we can skim along. So that's not a problem. Still working the same muscles, or we can lift. You've just found that tree. So nice and steady. Find your focus point. I would say don't at all use me on the computer screen. Find something around your room to focus your eyes on. And we're inhaling as we lift, we're exhaling as we bring it down. So just for 4, last 3, last 2, and hold just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Sassy walk it out. So legs a little bit wider, and let us sassy walk it out. So I'm grabbing my hair bubble to take my hair off the back of my neck because it's very warm. So you're going to come to the end of your mat, and as you come to the end of your mat, you want to have your feet hip distance apart. So remember, to do that, we just take our take our little finger and thumb over the toes. We want the toes sitting over. Shoulder blades back and down. Let's inhale up. Let's monkey squat down. So hands are on the thigh. We take a deep breath. As exhale, walk the hands down. Come onto all 4s. So nice and steady. Hands are on the floor, beneath the shoulders. Knees are beneath the hips. Now, if we've got wrist problems, we could take our hands into a fist, rest on the fist. What it means is that when you do that table position, I talk about that sort of table back, you're going to be on a diagonal, but that's okay. The important thing is that your wrists are comfortable. So make sure the wrists and forearms are in alignment. You may want to take a cushion and rest your hands so that the back of your hands are on the floor and the fingers are just on the cushion. Or better still, if you've got a little hand towel or kitchen towel, bath towel, thin towel, like flannel, or 2 flannels, 1 for each hand, and just rest your hands on them. That's going to give them some support. So hands beneath the shoulders, elbows soft, tailbone to the back of the room, drawing the shoulder blades slightly together. We've got our nice table back. So remember, if I brought my tray of gin and teas, my G&Ts, you wouldn't spill any of it. So we're holding that position. We're just going to do some tucks. So we took the tailbone under and back. So I took it under, and it's not a cat and cow. Okay, so some of you will be familiar with cat and cow in yoga, or maybe you've even done that in Pilates, but this is just a small lumbar tuck. So the thoracic shouldn't really be moving. There may be a little bit of movement there naturally. Otherwise, it is just the lumbar and the sacral part of the spine. So nice and steady. Controlled. So just for 4 and 3 and 2 and last one. And then bring it back, hold it there, nice and steady, very gently. Take a deep breath, take your knees wide. As you exhale, big toes come together and come back into shell. Remember, if shell's uncomfortable for you, you can keep the knees facing forward and you can come into child's pose. Just push the bum back. If you can put cushions underneath the bum and on top of the heels, but if that's still uncomfortable, keep the bum in the air and reach the arms forward. So you can see I've dropped my forearms down because I'm finding this unpleasant on my shoulders. Otherwise, you can have your arms out in front, reaching out. Hold it there. I do try to do this. I just find on my left shoulder it really struggles. So just be conscious if you've got any shoulder issues going on. We want to make sure that the head's resting on the floor or resting on a block, a hardback book or a cushion. We don't want the head dropping so that we've got that overextension in the back of the neck. And we're just going to hold it here for a few moments. The tailbone is tucked under. We're still on that third floor with the pelvic floor. And we're still drawing that belly button in towards the spine. And we're just holding it there. I could just go to sleep here. This is very comforting. So very gently, you're going to just turn your forearms over. And at this point, your head may come off the floor. And you're just going to take your hands into a fist and then release them. So just roll them into a fist and roll them in and out. Just roll them in and out. In and out. And then very gently just roll them in one direction and then roll them in the other direction. And then very gently walk your hands up. Now staying in that shell position, or even if you're in child's pose, that's absolutely fine. You can still do the same move. So our hands are in front, fingers spread out. You're going to tuck the tailbone, the head in, so we're like curling all the body in, and then release, bum sticks out ever so slightly and head looks forward. So we curl in, release. Curl in, release. Curl in, release. And then stabilize. Very gently, knees come back in, we come onto all fours. We're taking opposite arm and opposite leg out behind us. So hands beneath the shoulders, elbows still, elbows soft. Peach under the chin. We're looking down towards the floor. We're not looking under, we're not looking in front. Nice and steady. Opposite arm and leg slide out. If you want to lift, we're looking for a nice straight line. The hips are staying level. We bring it down, alternating sides. As you bring that knee and arm down, they should go back exactly in the same spot where they lifted from, hopefully dependent on your mat. So if I lift off my mat, kind of I can see an imprint of where my knee was, where my hand was, and I can bring it back into that. So keep going with that. Be really conscious that your hips aren't tipping. If your hip is tipping to one side, that means your range is too big. So just make it smaller, and that will become, you'll find your hips stay more level. Take your time, you're breathing in as you take it out, and you're exhaling as you bring it back. So just really nice and steady, controlled. Taking your time. As soon as I go for it, I start falling over. So let's just have 2 more either side. So finishing on the left. So we should have started on the right. So finishing on the left, but if you started on your left and finish on the right, so it's equal on both sides. Now this time, take your right arm out, your left leg out, and hold in position. As you hold, you're then going to pull in, make yourself really small, and extend out. So we inhale exhale, inhale, exhale. So you're extending out, you're that beautiful straight line, that table, arm and legs, the neutral spine, all on the same side, and then drawing it in, making yourself as tiny as possible. So nice and steady. Control just for 4. Last 3. Last 2. And last one, hold it out. Stay in position, hips are still level. Bring it down. Knee comes down. Take your bum back onto your heels. Just roll your wrists for a moment. Roll your wrists for a moment. And then let's come back. We need to do the other side. So coming back onto all fours, knees beneath the hips, left arm, right leg, excuse me, or opposites to last time. And they come out and in. So out and in. Eyes are looking down, being conscious that you're making yourself small, and then you've got that beautiful straight line. You're breathing in as you bring everything in. You're exhaling out as you take everything out. Hips are staying level, shoulders are staying level. Again, remembering if we start to tilt, then we need to make our range smaller. So last 4 and 3 and 2, and hold out. Last one, hold it out. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Hand down, leg down. Back in shell stretch one last time, or child's pose. Big toes together if you're going for shell. Reach forward, let the head drop between the arms, and hold it there. Tailbone is tucking under. Nice and gently hold it. Just have a few moments in that shell stretch. Breathing deeply in through the nose, out through the mouth. So let us now take a deep breath. And as you exhale, gently come up. We're going to come forward and come down onto our bellies. So come down onto the bellies. Onto the bellies. Maybe just talking about myself there. Okay. Take your hands in front. Let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. Take your legs as wide as your mat. And hold it there. Hips are gently pressing into the mat. You've got that pelvic floor engaged. You've got that abdominal belt engaged. Gluteal bracing. So we know this well. We're going to squeeze the bum cheeks in. The knees, the ankles are going to rotate in. You're clutching that 50-pound note. And then releasing. So as we rotate in and we have that clench, that bracing going on, the feet, the knees, they don't leave the floor. Just nice and steady, in and out. Nice and steady. So let's have 4 more. Squeezing, releasing, last 3. Last 2. And last one. This time just take it and just hold it there. So we've got like a little Frenchy going on with the bum cheeks. They're really smooching now. Hold it there. Hold it just for 8, 7, 6, pelvic floor, abdominal belt engaged. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let it relax. Very gently walk your feet in so they're hip distance apart. Bring your forearms onto the floor so you're just gently looking forward. Now we can stay in this position, and remember, if this is uncomfortable on your lower back, you could just lay it on your front again and just rotate the head from one side, hold it there for 10 seconds, and then just do the same to the other side. Otherwise, we're holding this position. We're going to alternate and lift up, but if you're not comfortable with that lift, just stay in this position. So hands are in front, elbows are beneath the shoulders, pelvic floor's engaged, abdominal belts engaged, the feet are hip distance apart. We take a nice deep breath. As exhale, we lift and bring it down. So we inhale and lift. Exhale down. So nice and steady. Inhale, lift. So just 4 more. Last 3. Those eyes are looking in front. Last 2. Last 1. Gently bring it all the way down. Hands come back down in front. Excuse me. And gently let the head turn to one side. Let it just rest there for a few moments. Just take a moment to rest there for a few moments. Excuse me, my hair's tickling my nose. Take the head to the opposite side. Let it rest there for a moment. Take a deep breath, deep breath. Take a deep breath, head comes back. You're going to roll onto your side. So we roll onto our side and you're rolling over onto your back. You can have a cushion underneath your head if you so wish at this point. You also want your circle or band to hand. So just have them nearby. So we're laying on our back. We're starting with nice simple imprints. So remember, we're always okay to have a cushion underneath our head on the imprints. Hands are just resting by the side. And we've got that neutral spine in position. So hands are just by the bum. Feet are as close to the bum as they can be, as is comfortable. And they're hip distance apart. The ankles should be directly beneath the knees. So all we're going to do is tilt our tailbone up towards the ceiling. As we do that, the lower back's naturally going to imprint into the mat. We're then going to imprint the mid back and the upper back. We then release the upper back, the mid back, the lower back, and you'll come back to your neutral spine. So what we've got is there's no space between the spine and the mat. So let's just have a few of these imprints, because they're really good for us. And we're inhaling and we're exhaling. Nice and steady. Ponytail so it's more comfortable on my head. And of course, we're on that third floor with our pelvic floor, our abdominal belts in position. Let's just have 1 more. And then bring it back to neutral and just hold that position in neutral. Take your focus into the belly button, and at the moment you've got that 25-30% tension. Let's hollow out the tummy. So let's begin to draw the tummy down as if you've got an ice cream scoop, and we're hollowing it out. So it's coming more 50, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Pull in as if you're trying to pull the belly button down towards the floor, and then bring it back to that 25-30%. So we never just go, ugh, and just relax it. 25-30%. So we'll pull in, we're pulling. You should feel it as you're doing this. You should feel the pelvic floor working, the lower abdominals, the abdominals working. Lots of different muscles coming into play here as we pull this. It may feel like you're not doing much, but it is very effective. So we're pulling, we hold, and then we bring it back to that 25-30%, and then we just repeat. So we're pulling, pulling, down nice and strong, holding, scooping, hollowing, then releasing. Two more. So scooping, hollow, 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 holding, holding, holding. And then releasing to 25-30%. Last one. So scooping, scooping, hollowing, hollowing, hollowing. Hold it. And let it come back. Bring your feet together, knees together, and just let's have a 5 past 2 and a 5 to 2. So before we go into our bridge, we're going to stretch out our hamstrings. So if you have a strap or a band to hand, that'd be fantastic, and don't worry if you don't. Like I said, a pair of tights is just as good as a strap or a band. So just easing off. So I'm just going to grab my strap. So all we're going to do, it's nice to stretch out the hamstrings before doing a bridge. I may have just said that a second ago, so I apologise if I did. Straightening out that leg as best as we can. I know I've got super baggy pants on today, but you can see that my leg is straight. So remember, it's not about getting that leg down onto the tummy. It's really about stretching the hamstrings to the back of the thigh. This supporting leg can be bent, foot flat to the floor. If you've got back issues, I would say keep that leg bent. Otherwise, straighten the leg out. So I'm going to keep mine bent because I just find it just more comfortable on my lower back. If you've got no sciatica issues, we can flex the foot up towards the ceiling. If you have sciatica issues but it's not active at the moment, then just keep the foot relaxed. If the sciatica is playing up, then just hug your knee rather than give it a hamstring stretch. So hold it there. So let's just hold it there and get a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, draw it closer if you can. And again, using your breath. But the minute you start to feel the knee bending, then we need to take it further back. Or if you feel pain, then you reduce your range of movement. Shouldn't feel pain. Muscles stretching, fatiguing. Like I can feel this muscle going, oh, that's a nice stretch. But it's not in pain, it's just being stretched out. Let's bend that knee into the chest and let's just change over. So other leg comes up. Oh, this one feels much tighter than the other one. So again, if we've got back issues, we're going to keep this leg bent, or we can extend that leg out if we wish. We're straightening it out as best as we can. That might mean it's got to be further away from the body. Remember, if you're not using a band, you can just hold the back of the thigh, or you may hold onto your leggings. Just make sure there's nothing, you're not holding onto the back of the knee, so we're not putting pressure onto a direct joint. If we've got no sciatica, we can flex our foot. If we've got sciatica, just leave it naturally. If you're suffering with active sciatica and it's been played up, then hug the knee rather than the hamstring stretch. Hold it there, taking a deep breath, and with each exhalation, come a little bit closer and hold. And again, taking a deep breath. As you exhale, bring it closer if you can, just hold that stretch. I'm taking my cushion out of place because we're going to come into our bridge next, and we don't want a cushion underneath our head unless we know we've got an overextension. So I'm bending, I'm taking that away and bringing it down. Walking my feet as close to my bum as I can, but remember, if you do suffer with cramps regularly in the hamstrings when you do a bridge, take them a bit further away and that'll take that away. I want you to grab your circle at this point and just rest your hands holding onto it either side. If you've got a band and you're using your band, then just take your band over your chest and have it, you're going to hold it so there's tension on your band. The other thing you can do as well, if you've got the tights, you just again hold it so you've got tension on the band. So pelvic floor's engaged, eyes are looking straight up to the ceiling. If you find you're looking behind you, then I need you to nod your chin so you're looking straight up. If you're looking in front, lift the chin. If you've done those adjustments and you've still got issues, then maybe get a hand towel rolled up, a little towel, and place it under your head so it gives you a lift so you've got that neutral spine. Generally in the studio, we've given you adjustments if you've been in the studio, so you may just have a cushion, but you don't want to be your head propped forward. So the important thing is that you don't want to end up with your chin on your chest. So you want to make sure that you can have that nice juicy peach under the chin. So take the arms up above the chest, hands either side of the circle, or you've got tension and you're holding onto your band or tights. So nice and steady, take a deep breath. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone up to the ceiling and begin to imprint the lower back. As you imprint, begin to lift the lower back up from the floor, slowly coming up. So in a nice diagonal line. Once you're there, take your circle over the head. We don't want the ribs to lift, we don't want to arch the spine, so keep, it may not go too far, and then bring it back. Circle comes above, upper back comes down, lower, mid back, lower back, and then we lift again. So that sequential movement as you lift, arms come over and back, upper back, mid back, lower back comes down. So nice and steady, controlled. Gently tuck, imprint, lift, lift. Make sure the ribs aren't splaying, arms come over. They're not necessarily going to come all the way, because you might find that if you take them all the way over your head, your rib starts to lift and your hips start to lift and you start curving the spine. Remember, we are looking for a nice diagonal line with the body. So it's the shoulders, the hips, the knees. And if this is feeling too much, you just come back to your imprints. You can always take the circle and having it above the head out. That's absolutely fine. So 2 more. Control, breathing in, breathing out. So breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One last time. Gently bring it down. Bring the circle down, bring your knees together and gently just sway side to side. 5 past 2 and a 5 to 2. Nice and steady. And then very gently turn your feet out, Mary Poppins, heels out, knees come wide, circle goes in the middle. Remember, if you don't have a circle and you're using a band or a tights, take your legs together as close as you can, tie the tights or the band in a bow or a knot. Just make sure you can get out of it. And all we're going to do is we're going to squeeze and release. So if you've got a band on, you're going to be pushing outwards. So it does change which muscles you're working, but I want you to try and get, we're getting the same but differently, if that makes sense. If you've got the circle, you're going to squeeze in, squeeze out, squeeze in, squeeze out. Whereas if you've got the band, you're going to push out, but put your hands on the hips and make sure the hips keep facing up to the ceiling like a spotlight, like the headlights of a car. Nice and steady, pelvic floor, abdominal belt engaged. So just 4 more squeezes. Last 2. And this last one, just hold. So whether you've got the band on, you're pushing out, you just hold. If you've got the circle and you're pushing in, you just hold. Hold, 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 hold. Give me a little pulse, whichever you're in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it release. Take the circle out. Take the soles of the feet together. So if you're wearing your band, just undo it because this will feel a bit uncomfortable if you still got your band on. Soles of the feet together and just open up into that cobbler, that supine cobbler. And just gently let the hands rest on the inner thighs. Hold it there for a moment. Nice and gently. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Gently hold it there for a moment. So let's just have a few imprints. So just rest your hands on your ribs or your tummy. Just feet hip distance apart. And all we're going to do is just tuck the tailbone up towards the ceiling, imprint the lower back, mid back, upper back, release upper back, mid back, lower back. So just a few imprints. Nice and steady. And then the last two. And last one. And then gently release. Okay, taking your circle again, we've got two options here. So if you have ongoing lower back problems, I would say keep your legs bent, okay? If you're quite happy, you can do this exercise with your legs extended. So we're taking the circle up above, and all we're going to do is bring it back. So you've got neutral spine. We don't want to be lifting the ribs. We don't want to be arching the spine. So take it over the head. So it starts in the center. We take it back. Chin is, so the eyes should be looking directly up. So the chin's got that nice juicy peach in place. And what we're going to do is curl up. Head comes up. Look down the body. Circle comes forward. Breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out as we come back. So we just come up. And in. Now, if we've got lower back issues that are, really quite bad, we're going to keep the knees bent as we do that motion. Otherwise, it's legs straight. So let's just have 8 of these. So we're coming up. Breathing out as you come down. So breathing in. Pelvic floor engaged. Remembering, keep going for me, that you're making sure your tummy's not doming as you come up. So looking at that tummy as you come up. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. And relax. Take it down. As you take it down, just let your head relax to one side. Then the other side. And then we're going to roll onto our side. And as we roll onto our side, we're going to bend this top leg. And we're just going to grab a hold of the foot, the leggings, the sock, and we're just going to stretch the quads, just holding it in that position. So stretching out the quadriceps, that's the muscle on the front of the thigh, nice big muscle. So we've stretched our hamstrings. Holding it there. And then release. We need to do the same the other side. So we just roll onto the opposite side. So I appreciate my back's to you. So you just roll onto the side, stretch on the other side. Holding it there for a few moments. And very gently bring it down, back onto the back. You're going to roll onto your side, one hand comes across the chest, gently push up and come over onto all fours. As you come onto all fours, shoelaces tucked under, hands walk to the knees. Gently come up. We've been on the floor a little while, so let us just swing the arms. Raise our heart rate a little bit. And then let it relax. Very gently, think about which is your weaker side, left or right, right or left. Strike out that leg in front. Toes tucked under gives you an assist. Shoelaces to the floor makes it more challenging. Remember, if this is not a comfortable way for you to get up, if you've got bad knees, then just come up in a way that's comfortable and right for you. Hands by the sides. Inhale up. Exhale down. Feet hip distance apart. Let's sassy walk it out. So sassy walk. Swing it out. And then very gently relax. Roll your shoulders. Just 1, 2, and 3. And we want to have that tailbone tucked under, that pelvic floor in place, on that bed floor, drawing that belly button in place. Peach under the chin, shoulder blades back and down, and you're ready for the rest of the day, evening, or bed, whatever it is. Well done. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, constructive feedback is always appreciated, and hope to maybe see you soon. Take care. Bye.